The Price of Greed, a true life story. The storm raged over the city, winds howling through the towering skyscrapers, lightning slashing through the sky like celestial judgment. Marcus "Money" Carter stood in his lavish penthouse, his hands in the pockets of his tailored black suit, gazing out at the city below. His reflection in the glass was one of power, sharp, ruthless, and unmoved by the tempest outside. The golden cufflinks on his sleeves glinted under the soft glow of the room's dim lighting. He was a man who had conquered everything in his path, and yet, tonight, something felt off, like the storm wasn't just outside but inside him too. His phone buzzed, breaking his trance. He turned, picked it up, and answered with a calm but authoritative voice. "Marcus Carter." "Marcus, it's Reggie," came the voice of his lawyer, Reggie Wells. The man was stocky, bald, and always wore the kind of expensive suits that screamed success. But tonight, his voice carried an unease that Marcus immediately picked up on. "The deal is set for tomorrow morning. Final signatures, and it's done. We'll own the land outright." Marcus smirked, strolling toward his bar and pouring himself a glass of whiskey. "And the shelter?" Reggie hesitated. "They're still fighting it. Pastor Elijah went to the city council today, trying to get them to block the sale. He had quite the turnout." Marcus chuckled, taking a slow sip. "Let them fight. Money wins in the end. It always does." Across town, in a modest but well-kept community hall, Pastor Elijah stood before the city council, his deep, resolute voice filling the chamber. "This shelter has been here for over 20 years. It has fed the hungry, housed the homeless, and given hope to those who had none. And now, you want to bulldoze it for another glass tower? Another soulless monument to greed?" His wife, Angela, stood in the audience, gripping their son David's hand. The 16-year-old's jaw was clenched, his hoodie pulled over his head, fury in his eyes. "Please," Pastor Elijah continued, "this isn't just a building. It's a home. A sanctuary. If we lose this place, we lose lives." The council members exchanged glances, but before anyone could respond, a voice rang out from the back. "Money talks, Pastor." The speaker was a man in a crisp suit, clearly one of Marcus Carter's representatives. "And Mr. Carter is offering more money than this city has ever seen for that land. You say it's a home, but in reality, it's standing in the way of progress." David surged to his feet. "Progress for who? Rich men like Carter? What about the people who live here? Where do they go?" The councilman sighed. "The decision has already been made. The sale is legal. There's nothing more to discuss." At that moment, miles away in his penthouse, Marcus switched on his massive TV screen. The news was airing footage from the council meeting. He scoffed as Pastor Elijah's impassioned speech played. "Greed blinds the soul?" Marcus muttered, shaking his head. "Spare me the sermon." That night, as he lay in his sprawling king-sized bed, he drifted into a deep, restless sleep. And then, he dreamed. The darkness was thick, suffocating, like he was trapped in the void of space. Then, out of the shadows, a figure emerged. Hooded, faceless, glowing with an eerie, ethereal light. "You have taken too much," the figure said, its voice reverberating as if it came from the depths of the universe. "Your soul is in danger." Marcus gasped, stumbling backward. "Who are you?" "One who has seen the fate of men like you. Wealth without wisdom. Power without mercy. You believe you own the world, but it is the world that owns you." Marcus felt something in his hand, gold coins, glimmering, multiplying, spilling through his fingers like sand. They turned to dust as they hit the ground. He jolted awake, drenched in sweat. He ran a trembling hand through his hair and exhaled sharply. "Just a dream," he muttered. But as he sat up, his eyes caught the mirror across the room. His reflection, was wrong. He looked older. Hollow. Like something inside him had already begun to wither. The next morning, he walked into his office, still shaken. He barely had time to gather his thoughts before the door burst open, and there stood David. The boy's fists were clenched, his eyes burning with defiance. "You're destroying people's lives. How much is enough for you?" Marcus chuckled, shaking his head. "Kid, this is business. Now, how about you take this?" He pulled out his checkbook, scribbled a number, and tore the check off. "And walk away." David looked at the check. Then he ripped it in half. "You can't buy everything, Mr. Carter." Marcus watched him go, a flicker of something unfamiliar in his chest. Doubt. That night, an envelope appeared on his desk. No return address. Just a simple message inside: "Repent before it's too late." Marcus snorted. Pranks now? Pathetic. But as he signed the final papers the next day, something strange happened. The conference room lights flickered. A shadow stretched unnaturally across the wall, twisting into something monstrous. His pen felt heavy, like he was signing in blood. Hours later, his luxury car wouldn't start. He slammed his fists on the wheel, cursing, when he noticed a homeless man nearby watching him. The old man's eyes glowed faintly. "You can't take it with you," he murmured. Marcus's heart pounded. "What did you say?" The man only smiled, then vanished into the night. The visions continued. Shadows clinging to him. His wealth slipping through his fingers. He tried to call his advisors, no answer. Tried to check his accounts, frozen. He ran to Pastor Elijah's church, pounding on the doors. "Help me." The pastor opened the door, calm and knowing. "Do you want help, Marcus? Or do you just want this to go away?" Marcus fell to his knees, shaking. "I don't know anymore." As he stumbled back into the city, the shadows followed, growing, twisting, consuming everything he had built. Then, a voice. Smooth. Charismatic. "You don't have to lose it all, Marcus. Just one small price." A contract appeared in his hands. Blank, yet heavy with 1,000 sins. His golden hands trembled. And then, he remembered David's words. "You can't buy everything." With a whisper, he let go of the pen. The tempter screamed as the shadows collapsed in on themselves. Marcus ran. By the time he reached the shelter, he had nothing left. But as he stepped inside, a warmth filled him. Pastor Elijah and David watched in quiet awe as Marcus knelt, tears falling. "I have nothing left, but I want to make things right." Pastor Elijah smiled. "That's more than enough." As Marcus donated everything, the shadow finally disappeared. He was free. And the final words echoed, "For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world, but lose his soul?" Mark 8 verse 36.